semifinal. They split 2 times, each winning on the road. They split throughout 2 regular season meetings, winning on the road, and that ball tipped away off the tip-off and out of bounds. The Indians will take control.
And look for the Indians to attack from the perimeter, trying to get people coming off of screens, coming through, trying to really throw Arrowhead's defense off on backdoor action.
See the state history for the Indians dating back to 1979 with that victory back then. The boys finding success at the Kohl Center last week, making it into the Division I state championship game. Rebound for the Warhawks, and here they come the other way. That was Kelly Smith with the rebound.
Defensive rebounds will be huge in this game. It ends the possession for a team and fuels a transition for another.
Gillespie on the drive, has it stripped down to the baseline, and Gray comes away with it. Girls were in Madison supporting the boys team for the Indians, and then the boys showed up at a sectional final on Saturday and supported them as well as they earned a trip to state. The Indians going inside, and scoring is Gray.
Exactly what they want to do. They started at the high post and then have a drop down to the low post.
McGuanago brings out the full court pressure. Voss with the basketball, extremely quick with the ball in her hands. And she's called for a double dribble. We're going to go back the other way.
Opening minutes are always times for jitters to get worked out. Turnover, travel, those things get worked out as the quarter goes on.
As we take a look at the head coaches, Rick Whitty in his first year with that 18-8 record coming in for the Warhawks. Todd Froworth in his 9th year overall, a 139-68 record. Second year with McGuanago, 34-14 with the Indians. And Courtney McKeever scores.
Arrowhead's going to have to figure out how to come across on that help on the front side. The ball is getting an easy entry into the low post.
Voss is double team, trying to get out of a trap. She passes out of it. Gillespie on the drive on the left side. Gives it up. Over on the other end, that's Allie May.
And that's what maybe Gillespie's really good at, distributing the ball to the post when they're open.
The Warhawks are on the board, 4-2 in the early going in the state semifinal. Wide open shot for Sierra. She knocks down the trifecta.
She's averaging 48 points from the three-point range. You can't leave her unguarded at all on the perimeter.
So far in 2 days of this tournament, we've seen a lot of outstanding freshmen, and you can add Sierra to that list.
Absolutely.
As a deflection, the Indians come away with it. Here comes Tuttle across the timeline.
Good decision by Tuttle. Didn't have the numbers. Pulls it back out. Works it around the perimeter a little bit.
Into the corner, and that shot off the front of the rim. Chased down by Arrowhead. Smith brings it across. Into the paint. Pull-up jumper, good.
She's hit the ground about 3 times already. This is going to be a physical game. Sometimes when you know teams well, you tend to play harder and a little bit more physical.
What do you do at this point in the season, because you do play in the same conference? Do you add another wrinkle, or is it, do you stick to what you do best?
Well, the 2 coaches kind of have different philosophies.
Jenny Tuttle for 3.
And back to the philosophies. McGuanago, Coach Froworth said he's going to stick with what he has. He's going to do what he does on offense, but really concentrate on defense. Coach Whitty wants to throw a few wrinkles in.
Coach Whitty, of course, very familiar with McGuanago because he grew up there and still lives there.
He said going to the grocery store has been interesting this week.
Ball pops out of there, and the Warhawks trying to convert. Instead, it's Gray coming away with it.
Again, defensive rebounding might be the story in this game. You really have to block out and end the possession after 1 or 2 shots.
With Froworth calling out instructions, Tuttle gives it over to Landry. Gray beyond the arc. Nice pass inside, the finish by Sierra.
That's a set play. Fake a handoff, have her coming through back door. Arrowhead was not expecting it.
And we have a timeout by Rick Whitty. He wants to talk things over with his Warhawks. This is a 30-second timeout. Michelle, we're going to take a look back. With 12-4 advantage. Take a look right here.
It's actually an isolation play for Sierra.
And another look.
Yep, isolation on her. It's hard to stop.
The 2013 WIAA tournament is brought to you by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin and Wisconsin Football. Take a look at the numbers right here and how well the Indians are passing the basketball.
They move the ball very well, and that's one of the things that Coach Froworth said. He said that they can run their offense from anybody on the top, anybody posting up. They're very interchangeable, very versatile in their offense.
The Warhawks inbound, and Deleshi on the dribble in the backcourt, gets it ahead to May. May has it taken away. Here comes Tuttle the other way. They have a 3-on-2. The bounce pass outside. Shot put up off the iron. Offensive rebound. We'll get another chance. That one's good for Gray.
That's what we talked about in the pregame too. You just can't give those second opportunities to an inside player like Gray.
And Peterson, number 23, is in the game for Arrowhead. Quantico basketball. The Indians with a 10-point advantage.
I was just going to say, Smith and May are just working some things out in transition. There, Kelly could have dumped off to Ellie Mae, but took the shot herself. That's an okay option too, but they'll start working together.
The Indians go into the corner and back up top. McKeever with the basketball now. Guarded by Smith. Into the corner. That one good. Another three from Aguanago. Give all three of those to Sira.
She is on fire from the perimeter, something Coach Woody was a little worried about, so he might be changing some things up on defense.
Smith gets it into the corner. That shot doesn't find anything but the net. Miller. Comes McGonigal the other way, putting up another three. That one in and out. The offensive rebound. Tuttle pulls it back outside.
Talk about Sira as a three-point shooter, but as a team, they're over 36% from the three-point arc, so they've got multiple options there. Again, same look with the handoff this time, just completing it.
Tuttle on the wing, goes inside. Gray, fake, baseline, kicks it back out. That shot off the mark, Sira. Warhawks on the move. Voss right down the middle of the court. That was Deleshi into the corner. Ellie Mae heads to the free throw line, drawing contact.
She was 9 for 10 in the last game that they played, or the last time they played Aguanago, 90% from the free throw.
That foul is on Melissa Landry. Ellie Mae at the free throw line. She averages 8.8 points a game, leads the team in rebounding with 8 a game, and shoots almost 70% from the line. Substitutions now. 20 and 21 from Aguanago. And the game has been Shalom and Ellie Mikulski. Also in Trish Neagle, number 25 for Arrowhead. That one off the mark, and the Indians with another rebound.
Coach Forworth is staying with his game plan. This is exactly the rotation he talked about getting in, staying true to what's worked for him all year. Arrowhead did a much better job of reading that fake this time.
Tuttle brings it back out top. The co-conference player of the year this year in the Classic 8. Trap almost turned it over. Gray comes up with it, goes to the dribble. Quantico, good passing team. They go inside. Gray with a little hook.
That was really tough to stop. Good perimeter movement and a post that can seal. That's a tough stop for Arrowhead.
Arrowhead into the corner. Kicks it to the other corner. That one off the mark. This is Shallock to get it up ahead to Tuttle. Tuttle spots up, shoots, good rotation. Off rim, and the putback is good.
Points off offensive boards are key.
That was Ellie Mikulski. Quantico was just like that, opened up a 21-5 advantage with almost a minute to go in the opening quarter.
This is something that hasn't happened in the 2 games when they've played. There hasn't been this much of a point differential in any of the quarters. So this will be interesting to see how Arrowhead reacts to this.
That was called as a held basketball. Substitutions now. McGonigal wants to bring in. We're going to take a break. All right, we'll let you know who's on the court after this. A message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. 1 minute to go in the first quarter. McGonigal with a 21-5 lead on the court right now for the Indians. Jenny Tuttle, Amber Gray, Megan Shallock, Ellie Mikulski, and Bree Sira. For Arrowhead, they have Tori Miller, also Kelly Smith, Lauren Peterson,
And
Trish Neagle, and Kayla Laurent. Indians with another rebound. See the big differential in the points in the paint in this opening quarter. And they're shooting very well from the outside. Bree Sira
she's just not going to miss tonight the way that she's feeling that shot.
She's committed to play her college basketball at UW Green Bay. Meanwhile, the Warhawks come back the other way with Kelly Smith off the glass.
Kelly Smith is a complete competitor. You'll see her go coast to coast. You'll see her post up inside if she needs to. Very, very offensively minded.
Tuttle trying to get around Miller. Shallock around to the right wing. They go back up top.
They've gone with someone a little longer on her right now. I think they're realizing they can't let her get that opening.
Final seconds. Tuttle pulls up off glass. It rattles around and through and in. And this is a terrific opening quarter for McWanago. Opening up a 26-7 advantage on their conference foe. Message now from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. McWanago jumps out of the gates in the opening period. This WIAA game summary is brought to you by your local WIAA network station. Michelle, the Indians are shooting the ball extremely well and pulling down those boards.
They're shooting it extremely well, and Arrowhead is having a hard time finding their balance on those shots. They're getting open looks, but they're not taking that extra second to just get their bodies set, get good balance, and get the kind of shots that they're capable of making from the perimeter as well.
What do the Warhawks want to do to open up this second quarter? Coming out of that first period where things just, you talked about they're right there, they're getting their chances, but they need to do some conversions.
I think they need to seriously evaluate how spread they are on offense right now. They're taking themselves out of second and third shot attempts, being so far removed from the basket.
Foul is on Tori Miller of the Warhawks. Heading to the free throw line now is Amber Gray, who shoots 55.8% from the free throw line. Second team all-conference this year.
Also a heck of a volleyball player, according to their coach.
See a lot of multi-sport athletes, and quite a few of them was jumpers from volleyball. In the game now for the Indians is number 23, Marissa Landry.
The multi-sport thing is something that Arrowhead really prides themselves on. Also, 4 of their starters are excellent athletes in other sports.
Gray 1 of 2 at the free throw line on that possession. McWanago extends the lead to 20. Warhawks dealing with the full court pressure. But the Indians hang their hat on, isn't it? That defense, that's what they stress in practice.
He is all about defense and very much about defense fueling their offense. And if you look at their rebounds right now and their turnovers, conversions, you can see why it works.
The Warhawks had 2 shots at the bucket on that possession and come up empty. Sierra now the other way. Try to get into the elbow. Just outside on the perimeter. Handoff. It's off the side of the backboard. Arrowhead now the other way. Gillespie all the way up and in.
She's a tough-nosed player, doesn't get a lot of credit, but she's definitely one of the hardest workers on the court.
And they're working hard on defense here, trying to create another turnover so they can chip away even more at this lead. Gray had it bounce, looked like it went off her foot and out of bounds. Let's take another look, going the other way.
She's seeing the whole court, and she's realizing their best option was her finishing to the rim. That's a heads-up player by the senior.
Gillespie ready to inbounds. She gets it right back and walks it up the court.
I think Arrowhead's best game is when they have May and Smith approaching from the high post, and they just lined them both up there this last possession.
Voss gets a friendly roll. A nice drive that came out of the corner.
Arrowhead now extending their pressure.
Indians the other way, and that is an easy deuce for the keeper.
The problem with their 1-2-2 there is one of the people in back, the players in back, didn't realize that someone got behind them. That's a cardinal sin of full court press.
Allie May had that shot deflected. The Indians come away with it. Marissa Landry. Jenny Tuttle resets things on the offensive end. McWanago Indians making it to state by winning the Middleton sectional, defeating Janesville Parker 44-30 and Sun Prairie 53-38. And we got a traveling call.
I think she was trying to make the pass before the receiver was ready.
basketball over. Closed captioning of this WIAA tournament broadcast is brought to you by your local WIAA network station. Arrowhead advancing to state, winning the Sheboygan South Sectional, defeating Waukesha West 47-37 and Kimberly 43-41. Each of these two teams playing Waukesha West twice and splitting. It was Arrowhead getting Waukesha West again in the playoffs, so going 2-1 against West.
Excellent backside help by Marissa Landry. She's undersized against May, but she was in position, and that makes all the difference.
Tuttle tried to work across the screen. Instead, she turns it over. Here we go the other way. All the way in. Jenna Goulet, too tough.
McWanago working a little bit of a spread offense right now with some down screens and ball screens.
Tuttle turned the corner and goes all the way in for the layup.
That spread offense gives her a lot of space to work with, and she isn't a co-player of the year without reason.
Allie Mae right down Broadway and scores with the left hand.
That's that high post, able to take people off the dribble. Action that Arrowhead is so good at.
It's getting really up and down the court. Come the Indians back into the post. That shot blocked. The Indians save it. Want to set things up again.
I really think that Arrowhead needs to be aggressive right now. They don't have Gray in at the post. Maybe get some turnovers around the perimeter when you don't have to worry about the post inside.
Went back inside.
Just as I say that.
And again off the glass. And more players on the deck.
Absolutely.
Smith going through traffic to the elbow and kicks it out. They go back up top to Deleshi. Takes a check with the clock, looks back. Goulet with the basketball.
Kowski's doing a great job of keeping May off the low block. She's trying to post up low, and she's just giving her little nudges to move her up the block out of where she wants to be.
Smith had a quick release. That's going to stay underneath the basket in possession of the Warhawks, and we're going to take a look back at the replay.
Well, and if this wasn't a 33-13 game right now, you'd feel it's a lot closer to where they're exchanging points on both ends of the court.
It does feel that way. Very strange, but you look up at the court and then you see the difference there, 33-13. Arrowhead with another chance to try to cut into that advantage.
Want to go in a zone in the inbound. See if they stay in it. Oh, pop out now with man.
Crossover, that shot blocked. Keeping from, well, she had possession, then traveled. Take a look at some of that height that McWanago has inside.
Mikulski, that was a great straight up. She did swipe at the ball, but it was very clearly all ball.
Ellie Mikulski, a 6'2" junior forward who actually started 14 games this year. Coach says she plays like a true center.
He likes to list his players at centers. You don't see that very much. You see post, forward, guard, but that was one thing that jumped out to me with his roster. He really likes to identify those players as true centers. I was going to say, you see so many teams where you see them listed as a guard or a forward, but they can play either position. They kind of go back and forth, and you see that versatility. Allie Mae scores again. Sear is an example of one of the players who lists as a center, but being the best three-point shooter also, I think we can argue she's pretty versatile.
Ray sends it over. It's Landry over there. Fight for the loose ball on the floor, and they have a held basketball. Possession arrow means we're going to go the other way.
I'd love to see that kind of intensity and aggression, despite anything of what the game situation is. Both teams are hustling after the ball.
And there is a timeout on the floor, 33-15 in favor of McWanago. A message now from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. 2013 WIAA tournament is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic, encouraging you to live an active, healthy life. Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. McWanago making its 6th ever state appearance, their first since 2003, reached the semifinals, of course, as we mentioned earlier, in 1979, with their only victory at state. For Arrowhead, their 8th appearance, first since 1996. They had some good teams back in the 80s and 90s. They won titles in 88 and 91 among 5 straight state appearances.
That was a great example right there of Jenny Tuttle taking her defense and transitioning into offense. If you watch here, she reads that pass, and then her eyes are straight to the rim. She's not looking at anything but to score, draw the foul.
Jenny Tuttle, who played her college basketball at Winona State, heads to the free throw line.
Coach Scott Ballard will really enjoy having her. She's the kind of player, I've been able to see Winona State play quite a bit, and she's exactly the kind of player that he likes to have in that program.
Leads the Indians in assists this year, 150, steals 79, three-pointers 52 on the season, all-around offensive threat. Longo with the defensive threat as well, called there on that reach-in foul.
Arrowhead's doing everything they need to do to break the press. They're just rushing when they pass to the middle. That inside, mid-court out to the sideline again, action is exactly what they need to do, but they're panicking a little bit when they're making that pass. If they just relax and let the defense shift before they react to it, I think they'll have more success breaking it.
That foul was called on Bree Sierra. Checking into the game for the Warhawks is Maggie Deleshi. Smith with the basketball, brings it across, quickly has two defenders in her face.
Right across that timeline, they're gonna jump you with the traps. You gotta be ready for it.
Miller loads, shoots a three. Allie May, offensive rebound. Try to get a little reverse lay-in at the underside of the basket.
She doesn't have a dribble.
The Indians could use some help.
Yep.
Gray comes over, says, I'll give you a hand. Sierra brings it on top. Gray looking inside.
There's that isolation play again with a different player.
Landry tried to find a cutter. Instead, it's taken away by Miller. Arrowhead ahead the other way. Quickly caught in front of, or in between two defenders and called for the traveling. Checking into the basketball game now is number 20, Megan Shallett.
Offensively, I think Arrowhead's got to find a way to be more attacking on the perimeter. They're shying away from that pressure, and sometimes when they bring that much pressure, you got to attack it. That was successful for them in the second game.
Sierra got it across. Shallett got that all the way through to Mikulski, who draws the contact, and she heads to the free throw line.
That's a foul you don't want to have in transition. You try to be straight up and make sure over the top.
That foul is on Allie May. Mikulski at the free throw line shoots 51.3% from the free throw line. Rattles through and in. Warhawks with the substitution. And now number 12, Jenna Boulay. Mikulski, a player with some good post moves, started 14 games this year. Good basket protector. She plays some volleyball. Good on the second.
It's the strength of McWanago that they can go deep on their bench. They can play 9-10 players and get point production out of them. That's a good.
Warhawks get it across. Deleshi sends it, has that pass deflected. Warhawks keep control.
They're going more to a 4-out, 1-in. Probably looking to attack a little bit on the perimeter, draw some fouls, get that isolation of May inside.
And delay got it to May. May just couldn't finish things. Half minute to go here before the half. Longo with another chance to extend that lead. 36-15 so far. Second quarter of the Division I state semifinal. Sierra moved to the bucket and good off contact.
She kind of got half screens there, not full screens, but she uses the help from her teammates so well.
Warhawks now with a chance to answer. Instead they called with the traveling.
Again, just rushing a little bit on the perimeter.
Kind of the way that things are going for them, isn't it, in this first half?
Absolutely. .7
seconds to go. You see the turnover numbers there. Arrowhead has now turned it over 8 times.
Bring a little pressure right now. There is only 7 seconds left, but I don't know if you want them to hit a basket heading into halftime. You kind of want to get a stop here.
Jenny Tuttle gets it. Kind of a shot, sort of in between, but it didn't come anywhere near the basket. So we are done with the first half of basketball. Ready to set things in motion here in the third quarter.
And Arrowhead's going to have to make a statement right now coming out of the half. The third quarter's been a great quarter for them all year. If you look at all of their games, they've come out of halftime talks on fire, and hopefully they can do that again tonight.
Gray has the basketball on the perimeter. On the dribble now. Gets it back. She can shoot that elbow jumper. Good at that. That one's off the mark, though. Here comes Smith the other way.
Again, look for them to increase her touches.
May goes inside. That was almost poked away. The Warhawks keep it.
May and Smith have a high-low game. Whenever they line up like that on the elbow, it's usually that they're going to have one of them stay high and one of them is going to drop low.
You can see that's what happened right there as we get a foul on the Indians. Headed to the free throw line is Voss. The foul is going to go on Courtney McKeever. How exciting was it for Arrowhead to make it to state? Coming down to the final seconds.
You know, they had such a rough stretch in the middle of their season where, again, Coach Woody in his first year was trying to, just figure some things out, really try some different systems, and whenever you do that as a new coach, it takes a while. There's some growing pains, but I think the way they've finished their season is a testament to how he got them to buy in.
Ellie Mikulski checks into the ball game for the Indians. They got into the final seconds of that sectional final, and they just gave the basketball to Voss. And she got through 2 defenders and had 2 more draw in on her, and she found May, and May hits the winning bucket. And Coach said it was an experience that they'll never forget. In fact, he had to go back and watch the film just to kind of replay it again. The Indians the other way. Gray off the glass and good.
She is very tough off the dribble. She's physically strong. She just does a nice job of finishing. Even if you get a little contact on her, it doesn't seem to faze her at all.
She averages almost 10 points a game. The Warhawks try to get it inside to May. May grabbed on the arm as she shoots. She's going to head to the free throw line for a pair.
If you watch how they set this up here, she's just so good at getting the ball inside. She had an inside seal that time, but Tuttle keeps her head up the whole time looking to see where her posts want the ball.
Meanwhile, on the other end, Amber Gray called for that personal foul. See the numbers for May. 8 points to go along with 5 rebounds.
Again, she's an excellent free throw shooter.
She was 3 of 7 from the field in the opening half, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds.
That's an area that Arrowhead absolutely needs to pick up on right now is defensive rebounds. They're getting too many second and third attempts for McGonigal.
Gray working the pivot, puts it on the floor and hands it off. That was Landry all the way in to Tuttle to finish. Ross brings it right back, quick with the basketball. Pulls it back out.
Speaking of second sports, track is hers, no surprise.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. You want to see Smith out on the perimeter. She sees the basket well, facing up to it.
DeLeshy into the paint, has that knocked away. That was Mikulski getting her hand up there and knocking the ball.
Watch the action coming through again on a little isolation.
Sierra worked off that screen. We're back up top. Mikulski, they're swinging around into the corner. Sierra with it.
Got the 2 posts in there now. That creates an interesting look also. 2 centers.
Tuttle on the left side. They go into the corner.
Everything she does with the basketball, she's setting up her teammates. It's really impressive as a point guard, the control that she has.
Gray can't find any iron on that shot. It goes out of bounds, but they'll keep possession. Thought the way they were going to give the basketball to McGonigal that maybe it was deflected, but it was not. The shot was just off the mark. So it's going to be the Warhawks basketball.
I think Coach Woody was going to make sure that happened just by what we saw.
Because I love McGonigal and everything. I live there, but they're not going to have the basketball.
No.
DeLeshy found a double team, dribbles back out of it. Skip pass across. Voss kicks it back out to May. Swinging around, good passing there. They get off the shot, and that's good for 3.
That's exactly what they needed to do. They need to pull her out to the perimeter. That allows May to make that eye cut when the guards are driving in on her. It just spreads everything out better.
Kelly Smith for 3. She leads the Warhawks in scoring this year at 14.7 a game.
Also a great defender, as you saw right there.
And thrown out of bounds. It's Landry hitting the deck and then turning and trying to find a teammate. It's thrown away.
So far, Arrowhead has tried to increase that pressure a little bit, tried to be a little more patient on offense, and they're chipping away just a little bit.
And then Shallock into the game for McGonigal. going to take a timeout. It looks like we're going to take a time. Okay, so that's going to be a 30-second timeout. We had substitutions, and then we had the referee signal for a 30-second timeout. It is 42-22 in favor of Mukwonago. The 2013 WIAA tournament is brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance Company, a proud sponsor of the WIAA Rural Mutual Sportsmanship Award. Go to ruralins.com. Ready for a geography lesson?
Absolutely. They know each other well because they're located extremely close to one another.
There you go. We have Arrowhead out of Heartland, the Warhawks there, and then Mukwonago, the Indians, and the game coming up later on in Division I, Milwaukee Riverside and Superior. So the far northern reaches of Wisconsin represented at the state tournament because South Shore had already played down here as well this weekend.
And that was a long trip for both teams, but they're both happy to be here.
And we are back in play. The Warhawks coming up empty on that possession. The Indians come away with it.
Arrowhead's going to have to find some ways to score. They're getting decent stops, but they need to make all of those stops transition into scoring.
To get inside, and that's Mikulski who scores.
Mukwonago just very physically strong in their post positions.
Warhawks coming back the other way. Janet Goulet with the basketball. That shot taken by Miller.
She's a great three-point shooter. She hit 4 three-point shots against Mukwonago. She's got a little something on her wrist. You wonder if it isn't bothering her shot just a little bit.
The Indians come away with it. Tuttle with a drive all the way to the basket.
Drew some contact, but also got a little off balance. Maybe drifted more than she wanted to.
Goulet on the dribble. May off the back bracket. And wouldn't you know it, Gray with another rebound.
Yeah, she's really just a presence, just an absolute presence, both sides of the ball in the paint.
Zero between the legs. She was honorable mention all conference. As we mentioned, she played college basketball, committed to UW Green Bay.
Great read by Smith. Deflect that.
Goulet had that basketball as she missed her first 8 games this year with a leg injury and has also started 8 games this year. She's a sophomore. And off the mark, trying to get back on defense. Getting in front of Tuttle. Contact there.
Yep, she didn't get set. She was hoping to maybe get an offensive player control foul there, but she just didn't have her feet set.
Tuttle was quick to the basket, and she will now head to the free throw line. With a substitution now for the Indians. Both teams ready to send a sub into the game. Tuttle good on the first. The game is 23-19. As well as Lauren Peterson for the Warhawks.
The thing about Mukwonago is they are so good on defense. It is hard for teams to get runs going. They just absolutely shut you down on defense.
Good on the second, and there is a timeout on the floor. 46-22 in favor of Mukwonago. A message now from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. Unauthorized use or rebroadcast of this program and live internet stream without the express written consent of Quincy Newspapers Incorporated. Wisconsin Broadcast Division is strictly prohibited and a violation of U.S. copyright law. Coming out of the timeout, see the fans in attendance here. Mukwonago with a 46-22 advantage. Shooting the ball really well, shooting it inside, getting those rebounds.
Arrowhead was expecting a little more full court pressure, and Mukwonago actually backed it up just a little bit. Have a little more in the front court.
He pushes it ahead to Peterson. Peterson, there's a whistle underneath. Gonna go the other way.
Taking a look at rebounds right now, it's Mukwonago is winning the war on the boards, and that's turning into stops and possessions for Arrowhead, and also quick transitions on offense for them.
Sierra turns it into offense the other way with a quick layup. Sierra's having herself a game.
She is verbally committed to UW Green Bay for a reason. She's a phenomenal talent as only a freshman.
Peterson on the dribble. What are they trying to do in this offensive set?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is get a ball screen and then an eye cut where the post kind of rolls out and pops to the perimeter. But really they have more success when they pull Smith out to the perimeter, just like that, where she can shoot.
There she is, and she gets it to go through.
I just think it gives them more space if May's in there by herself and Smith is out on the perimeter. Guanago now is not in any rush to score. They can take their time, work the ball around, get some kids in different positions to see if they can get some experience with some of the other kids at the perimeter, as you see Amber Gray moving out there.
Sierra for three. Offensive rebound, and the putback is good by Tuttle. She just came flying in there, no one boxed her out.
She's fast, she's tough, she's competitive.
Warhawks veer through that defense and come back with a three for Miller.
Deep three with contact, and that's one thing that Coach Whitty shared with us. She's had four-point plays this season, which means she's finished shots on a foul on a three-point shot. That's impressive.
Under a minute to go in the third period. Tuttle kicks it out to the corner. Pulled back out.
Arrowhead still playing hard, hustling after every pass, shifting, sliding down and help.
Tuttle is left open for three. Give her three of those, trifecta.
They are an excellent three-point shooting team, and they are definitely showing that for everyone tonight.
The Warhawks playing for the final shot of the third. 5 seconds to go. May for three. If it's good, it's off the mark. And there's the whistle, and there's the buzzer. And we are done with 3 quarters of play. Guanago comfortably in front, 53-27. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. This WIAA game summary is brought to you by your local WIAA network station. And some numbers there. The Indians shooting the basketball really well, and they've continued that throughout the 3 quarters.
Well, if you look at the inside points, that's the story of the game right now. Guanago is able to capitalize on layups, on inside post entries, 30-12. That's just an unbalanced game in the paint.
Weak side rebound for the Warhawks, and miss on the second chance. The Indians come away with it. We saw those assist numbers. We're getting very close to what could be in the record book, so we'll see how that plays out in the fourth quarter as they pass the basketball and convert.
And I think we mentioned in the opening minutes how well they move the ball, and they're just continuing to do that. Everything is they're catching every pass. And again, it seems like every time I say something different happens. But relatively speaking, Guanago tonight, every pass has been caught with a jump stop. They're very fundamental. They're swinging the ball well. They're not making a lot of mistakes on offense.
That was McKeever who was called for the travel. Arrowhead back the other way. Voss with the basketball. Gives way to Gillespie. Smith tries to go inside to May. They can't convert on that pass.
Just a little hot for how high she had to extend it to catch that.
Landry at the top. The bounce pass inside. Yeah, McKeever. Yeah, you saw an opening there, didn't you?
Yeah. It made me, as a coach, it made me nervous to see Tuttle coming throughout that backdoor cut. She's wide open, and that's a
someone you want
concern.
to keep an eye on. Yeah, she had that rebound and that putback earlier. Gray dribbles her way through. Left alone is Landry, and Landry hits.
Their three-point shooting percentage is just, it has to be through the roof right now. It's balanced also. It started out with Sierra, but they're definitely moving it around to all players.
You think they like the atmosphere of the surroundings here at the Rush Center?
I think
Smith comes back for three.
Well, I think both teams do. This has been a great venue. It's been a great way for the crowd to interact. Many teams have said it's been fueling them, and I think we've seen that tonight with these two teams too.
With that ball knocked out of bounds, we're going to take a look back at a replay here. There's Gray kicking it out.
And again, if you didn't know the overall score of the game, they're mirror images of each other, coming down, getting balanced. Great shots.
Arrowhead answers on the other end with Smith for three. Smith, first team all-conference. Tuttle left alone from the wing, and a nice looking shot for three. And the whistle, full timeout. Guanago leads 59-30 with 6:04 to go in the fourth. Now a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. Welcome back to a Division I state semifinal, and you see Marissa Landry as we head back into action here in the fourth quarter. Allie Mae brings it across.
McWanago trying out their 1-2-2 pressure, dropping back into man.
Voss tried to get it inside, has it picked off. Here comes Tuttle the other way. She can afford to pull it back. McWanago can run some clock here in the fourth. And why run clock when you can shoot a three? That was Cyril,
it was your turn.
Not connected. And Voss back the other way with a layup.
She just has a competitor heart all the time. She's looking to go in. She's either going to dish or she's going to finish. She's always looking to attack off the dribble.
The other thing to think about is how you played on the high school court throughout the season, and now you're on that college court. You have a player like Voss who can run and get back up and down the court, so she can quickly get back the other way. Traveling violation called. The game now is number 22, Morgan Vukovic.
And you'll get a chance to see that right now. She just eyes are on the rim, and that's what we tell all our players to do. When you're going in, you get your eyes to the rim so you can finish.
Megan Shallock checks into the game for the Indians. Want to go 24-2 overall on the year, 12-2 in the first place finish in the Classic 8 conference. Arrowhead 18-8 this year, 10-4 in the conference. They were third place in the Classic 8. Allie Mae from 15 feet is good.
Exactly what they wanted to do, middle of that 1-2-2 pressure, just put someone long, get her the ball high, let her shoot.
Warhawks trying to get another turnover. Instead, McWanago slices right through the middle. Tuttle beyond the perimeter. Guarded by Miller.
Now you can kind of see Coach Froworth is working some other people in at the post, trying to give them that experience of that high-low game they're running.
We got a whistle underneath. We'll head back over the other way. We see head coach Todd Froworth, of course, played minor league baseball with 4 organizations, appearing in the big leagues with the 4, the Phillies, the Orioles, the Red Sox, and the Angels. Submarine-style reliever, appeared in 284 Major League Baseball games.
An interesting thing in my conversation with him is he doesn't do a lot of scouting during the basketball season as far as scouting other basketball teams, which is quite ironic since he's still a professional scout for the Orioles.
Yes, he is. And he had a team that made it to state a few years back when he was coaching the Whitefish Bay girls.
His theory is he lives and dies by, if we do what we're supposed to do well, it doesn't matter what they do, we'll adjust. And that has really been successful for him this year, but also tonight.
Voss gets it into the corner. That's Smith. Smith good with the jumper.
She's so much more comfortable when she has that space and can face the basket and shoot.
Sierra back the other way. Wants to go all the way into the rim. That's off the mark. Tuttle comes away with it. Brings it back out with 3:55 to go in the fourth.
Gotta love your point guard being your most tenacious rebounder also as far as coming in and crashing for those offensive boards.
Kulski out there with those yellow shoes. We've seen a variety of colors. Poked away by the Warhawks. That was Smith getting her hand on it. Perhaps more of a gold, since they are royal blue and gold.
I have not seen that color of yellow. I've seen a lot of fluorescent yellow this year, but not that color.
May got her hand in there, poked it away, and that's turnover.
And Arrowhead, Coach Whitty has to be proud of the effort that these girls are showing late in this fourth quarter, excuse me. They're hustling after everything. Loose ball on the floor, they're going after it. They're crashing for rebounds, working really hard.
Marissa Landry back into the game for the Indians. And that ball got caught up on her hip. Yep.
Another thing about Coach Whitty that just really impressed me when I talked with him this week is he said, I'm a first-year coach, but that was not an excuse to just come in and learn as I went along this year. He and his staff got together this summer, this fall. They worked really hard to try to design offensive and defensive systems that would help the girls right now, because he said these seniors have one shot. They don't get it next year. I need to know how to do it now.
Ball was turned over. Another substitution in the game is Lauren Peterson. And to follow up on that point, he replaced Heidi Hamilton, who had been the coach there at Arrowhead and had some good basketball teams there. Of course, she loves the game of basketball. She played collegiately. She played for Pius. She played in the WISA tournaments. and quite the basketball player, and she has been a good support system for him. And he talked to her about when she stepped aside, wanted to spend more time with her children and coaching them. But she's been there at those games throughout the season, and he says that he gives her credit because she got these girls really interested in the game of basketball when they were younger. It made them want to come out and play.
Exactly, which is exactly why she wants to continue to be involved with her own kids' youth experience as well.
It was Lauren Peterson who scored for Arrowhead. We have a timeout, I believe. A timeout was called by McGuanago. That's going to be the 30-second variety. McGuanago in front, 59-39, 2:41 to go in the fourth quarter. We also talked with these head coaches about, we see the 9-0 run over the last 3:10, but each of these coaches with glowing comments about their assistants and their staff and the work that they do when they put into helping put together a game plan and going out and scouting those games and getting ready for an opponent. And the fact that they played each other earlier this year, I know, I think it was Todd that said, well, maybe we're a half day ahead because we don't have to go back and look at so much film. But really a lot of credit to those assistants and the work that they put in, because that's a lot of hours as well.
And he was very respectful of Arrowhead and how they played them this year. And he was concerned that it wouldn't be what they knew about Arrowhead. It would be something that Coach Whitty and his staff would come up with that they didn't know that would get them. So, you know, that shows a lot, too, for both coaches to have respect for each other.
Rick Whitty, of course, we talked about him living in McGuanago and growing up there. His brother John was a quarterback and played at State a couple times, won a title, and his sister Ann, she played basketball for 4 years at UW Milwaukee. His mother Molly still runs some camps over there and coaches in the middle school program. And so it's a family affair over there in McGuanago, and he loves the fishing in the area. So he's going to stay in the area because if there's another passion he has outside of basketball, it's fishing.
And it's good that the seasons don't conflict.
Except for ice fishing,
well,
but he didn't mention that. We'll go with the warmer variety. That always seems nicer to me.
I just understand how much you put in as a head coach, and I don't know if you'd have time to go ice fishing.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, you gotta relax somehow. So we do that in the summer.
Right now, McGuanago just wanting to contain, keep that drive out, keep the ball out of the paint.
McKeever with the steal. Sarah tries to get it across. May got her hand in there. Gray comes up with it, and then Tuttle gets the basketball, and I believe we're going to get another timeout. Yes, we have a timeout by McGuanago. So kind of in a dangerous situation there at the timeline. All right, we're going to take a break as well. A message now from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. And we're back at a Division I state semifinal, 59-39 in favor of McGuanago. The Indians have just called a timeout. One of the storylines that we have been talking about throughout this ball game is the field goal shooting percentage. And McGuanago at a clip of 57.5% and Arrowhead at 36%.
Which is actually pretty close to Arrowhead's season average of 37%, but obviously McGuanago during the season shooting 40%. They're having a hot night from the field.
Shooting it from the paint and shooting it from the outside. Speaking of the outside, that shot is good for Miller.
Again, they're getting good looks. Now the shots are falling. A little late in the game to have it happen, but they're definitely showing how they competed so closely with them both times this year.
Tough for the Warhawks as they look back at that opening quarter. As that three-point try rattles out. Put back to Strong off the glass.
Game at the state tournament, many games throughout the year. It's 4 quarters of basketball, and if you have that one quarter where you struggle, it comes back to haunt you.
Tuttle takes it away and goes coast to coast. And a timeout by Arrowhead. So we're going to take another break in the action from the courts. It's a substitution, maybe not a timeout.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get his sub in. Tuttle's so quick with the steal and finishes well with the layup.
And it turned into a timeout. So it is a timeout, 61-42 with 1:06 to go. And Rick Whitty there, the first-year head coach for the Warhawks.
One thing I'd like to say while they're there, as he's subbing his seniors out, is he met with his seniors 3 weeks ago, and he told those girls, you know, they were coming off a rough stretch of those losses that we talked about. He gives a lot of credit to his seniors because he said to them, we are going to go as far as you take us. And they're at the state tournament. So I think that's a testament to the 3 seniors that he has.
Early in the year, he had some of those underclassmen playing, and to their credit, those seniors, they weren't playing as much. And then that rotation kind of came around, and they knew it was good for the betterment of the team. And then it kind of came around, and then they really settled into those roles.
And very unselfish. I mean, they're high school girls. They all want to start as seniors, but they also realize it's a team game, and he got them to believe in that. And that's incredible for any coach to do. First-year coach, that's remarkable.
And to the credit of what the Warhawks did, they were unranked in the final AP and coaches polls. They beat 3 of the AP's top 5 teams in the last month, and they did have that stretch with the 7 losses in the 9 games. And then since then, won 10 of 11, including 7 straight.
And Coach Whitty described it as a Disney effect. He said when they beat Kimberly, it was just that feeling that, you know, we're going to Disneyland. And sometimes that effect wears off a little bit.
Leshy heads to the bench. Into the game now is Morgan Fukovic. Arrowhead with the basketball and 1 minute to go in the 4th. Shot off the mark, tracked out on the other end is Smith. Smith stops, pops off the rim. A tied-up basketball, and the possession arrow shows that we're going to go the other way. Some substitutions for the Warhawks as they get set to come in. Megan Douglas into the game, as well as Kayla Lorenz.
And also number 14, Abby Zima.
So a lot of smiles on the faces of the Indians as they look forward to moving on to championship Saturday. Sad moment now for the Warhawks, but they have a lot to be proud of this year. The season that they had coming down here to finish as one of the top 4 teams in the state of Wisconsin in Division I.
And I think they will. I think Coach Whitty will help them look back on the season as a whole, not just one game.
And to take some more wholesale substitutions coming into the game now as we set the lineup for you for Montgomery. Take a look at some of these girls who have come over. Taylor Collins, I saw, was one of them.
Katie Young, number 30.
And then they quickly went over to the front, so we'll see what they look like when they come out onto the court. A lot of big shirts out there in the Veronica fan section.
Yeah, I was trying to read them when they came in. The font's a little difficult to read, but they definitely caught the attention.
Montgomery will get its 2nd ever state tournament win. Of course, the last time they had a victory at state goes back to 1979 when they reached the state semifinals. Missed their 6th appearance, the first since 2003.
Other people checking in. Bree Stepper is coming in, number 4. Missed the 2nd one.
Looks like Rachel Snyder.
Number 10. Number 10, Sienna is also in.
Taylor Collins, 12. Rachel Snyder, we got 24. Others, yep, you got Stemper.
Courtney Lloyd, number 15, she was in the last possession.
Megan Douglas is on the court as well.
It's an exciting moment for all 10 girls on the court right now here at the state tournament.
And firing away and scoring in a nice little fist
reaction. Just a great reaction by Kylie Lorenz. Senior guard.
Put her in the box score. How about the other way? The Warhawks, can they come up with an answer?
That was priceless.
Let's take another look.
She's still smiling.
It's an exciting time. Let's see that fist bump. There it was. Final seconds here, and the layup is good. So we got a score by Bree Stepper in the final moments of this game. The McGuanago Indians move on to championship Saturday thanks to a 64-44 win. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. Just like the boys 1 week ago, McGuanago moves into a state